But shows like Agatha are what keep me engaged and still holding out hope for, them to go back to that renaissance and that glory days. And I'm not talking about before woke and all of this shit here. Y'all could eat my ass with that. Hey, y'all, it is your friend Jared Javante, the Hollywood hero, here to talk about the newest, gayest thing of the month, Agatha All Along. Yes, I'm in my Kill Bill shirt today, feeling very Solanic. I might kill my ex. You never know. But yes, y'all, I'm going to talk about the good, the great, some of the things that I don't really appreciate, and also get into some theories before the 2 episode finale comes out tomorrow, or at least tomorrow at the time of this recording. All right, y'all, before we really get into the things, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. Y'all already know what the deal is. And if y'all hear any screaming in the background, just know it's the screams of the damned. And, they know what they did. So, to start off with the good, this is a really stellar cast. I'm going to get into it more so with the great, but I think a strong cast can elevate any project no matter how strong or how weak the writing is. Now, this project does have some very, very strong writing, but the cast just does it for me. I feel as though everyone has a role to play and isn't necessarily the person who gets shunted off screen, so to speak. Even the ones who are, spoiler alert, no longer with us. I feel like everybody so far has an interesting, complex, and complete character arc, in my opinion. And I think what also lends itself, I told y'all, but I think what also lends itself to a strong ensemble cast is the miniature relationships within the ensemble. Agatha and Wiccan's dynamic, the old hag and the young twink arguing, it is a tale as old as time, and it will always present itself in the 3D. You know what I'm saying? And I love this iteration of it. I also want to say Agatha All Along is one of the few that I can name, at least off the top of my head, Marvel productions that I have actually full out belly laughed at. Like cackling for 5 minutes straight laughed at. The Who sharing at the end of episode 1, it just sent me. And once again, the cast, they elevate these lines. So I feel like if anyone else was delivering some of these lines, especially Catherine Hines, they just would not hit like that. But because of who they casted, I'm chuckling my ass off. Okay. Speaking of Sharon, I love Deborah Jo Rupp and her 2 episodes of screen time. It was enjoyable. I'm glad that they brought her back as kind of like this tie to WandaVision. And even though the whole first episode kind of was the tie into WandaVision, I like that they kind of brought her over, even if it was for a brief period. Speaking of which, I love that this show is also WandaVision Part 2 without being WandaVision Part 2, if that makes sense. It's not trying to tackle the same themes, I think. We're not at the end yet, but I think that the way that it is approaching emotional storytelling and just overall world building is a little bit different from WandaVision. It is a continuation in spirit, but not quite electric boogaloo. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. Now let's kick off the great category. To start off, the direction on Agatha All Along by Jack Schaefer, I believe her name is. It is quite phenomenal to me. It's super intentional. It doesn't feel like there were no shade, but those who need to catch it, catch it. It doesn't feel like there were 50 rewrites over the course of filming in pre and post production. It seems like there was a singular vision from the get go. Maybe some things were sprinkled in throughout and, along the way. However, there was a singular vision and a singular story that was supposed to be told from the jump, and that vision was kept and stuck with all the way through. And so far, we have 2 episodes left. It is translating to me. I hope that the people watching this and the people who, are in charge of getting the numbers are seeing what the people want. And this is my daily, weekly, monthly, yearly rant about executives and the need to let creatives be creatives and the business people be the business people. I'm not going to the bread maker and asking him for a pot of soup because that would be foolish. This is what happens when you allow creative people to be creative. And yeah, yeah. But the emotional highs and the emotional lows, like I say, the comedy is very funny. It's not just quippy and, he's right behind me, isn't he? That get old, especially when you start to apply it to every character within a shared universe. And this was is a breath of fresh air. I also absolutely love how gay this show is. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. It's just a gay old rainbow field time. And it's not hitting you over the head with it, but everybody in this show, if they're not coded that way or not explicitly, stated to be that way through their actual dialogue and not just I like men the way that men are supposed to like women. And that's just it. We're getting things like, I don't want to go back in the closet, or straight answers from a straight lady. This is what I want to see. It's really cool to see, especially because not only is this a gay witchy show, which gay people love witches and magical shit. Just ask your local homosexual. But to see that it's coming from Marvel Studios. They have been in hot water over, gay representation. And I won't defend your sister because where's my LGBTs? But this time around, they gave the gays and the girls what we've been asking for, and we want more. We want more.
I'll be back tomorrow for the $80.
And speaking of gays, guys, girls, anywho, this entire coven is just full of people you either love to hate, or just want to root for and want to know more about in general. Highlights for me personally are Catherine Hahn as Agatha, obviously. Lilia Calderu. Y'all bringing Patty Lupone onto this show. Y'all knew exactly how to get the homosexuals on board. I don't know who was in the writing room. I don't know who was in logistics and diagnostics. But y'all ate that. Y'all ate that down. To get legend of the screen and stage, Patti Lupone, onto a Marvel production. I have to give y'all sins. I have to. Sashir Zamata. I'm a huge fan of SNL, or, back in the day I really was. I haven't watched it so much as of recent, but, I grew up on Sashir. And so to see my girl now in a Marvel Studios production is great to see. And I'm gonna need her to make it to the end. I'm gonna need her to make it to the end. Please and thank you. My last little point for this category, I just want to give a special shout out to my girl Alice Wu. Rest in peace. Her episode, I think, has been really understated simply because this entire series or season so far has just been incredible. I think each episode just makes you want to keep tuning in to the next one without some hokey cliffhanger. Is genuinely something that makes you want to tune in and wonder where the mystery is headed next. But Alice Wu's episode, it was really powerful, especially for me as somebody, who's working through generational curses and generational inheritance on, both ends, good and bad. It just was really powerful to me. When she lifted her voice and she lifted that spirit and she rebuked it. Oh, yes! The church did say amen. Oh, bashata. It was really powerful. It was really powerful. That was, yeah, y'all ate that. And if my girl is really dead, which Jack Schaefer has, made comments recently saying that death is immutable, and ain't that the truth? That was a really strong arc to end it on. As I have absolutely been gushing over this show, this whole video, there is not too much that I take issue with so far, especially because we're not at the end of the season or the series. It is supposed to be a miniseries, I believe. However, but especially because of the ending of the last episode, I think that the Salem 7 was kind of set up as an antagonist that we would learn more about, and that would make their conflict with Agatha and the whole coven as a whole a little more emotionally investing, or worth emotionally investing in. I think that's how you phrase that. But the ending of the last episode, while it was powerful for Lilia in the end of her arc, it was a very incomplete arc when it came to the villains of the Salem 7. I know some people have spoken about, oh, we saw a feather and two of them can turn into birds, so they might have escaped. So I'm holding out hope for the Salem 7. Like I said, we have 2 episodes left, and hopefully both of those are a full hour, or 45 minutes, whatever broadcasts do. Y'all know how they do, child. But yeah, it's a little lackluster when it came to the Salem 7. Honestly, they could have left them out the whole time and the show would still be great. Now, my less than favorable opinions list might grow when the show ends. However, that is going to be it for me. So now we're just going to give a couple thoughts and then I'm going to get into some theories, baby. Okay. I do need 3 more mixes of the Ballad of the Witch's Road. I'm going to need that neo soul mix. Down, down, down the road. Down, down, down the road we go. Yeah. I'm going to need that gospel mix. Down, 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 down. Where are my bass? Where are my background singers? Yes. And I'm also going to need that disco mix. Down, down, down the road. Down, down, down the road. Please and thank you. Now I know the next episode is supposed to be for Jennifer, so I think that any 3 of those can happen, but I do need at least one. Please and thank you, Marvel Recording Studio. Lastly, before we get into some theories, Marvel, I think y'all are starting to get the hint, and y'all are starting to get the message, but Marvel, you need the girls and the gays. We're going to pack out the house. We're going to fill up the seats. The album was great, and we're all going to buy it. But I'm not saying pander. I'm not saying pander. However, your female and LGBT audience loves the witchy stuff. We also love mutants, and it just so happens that y'all are trying to speed run things into the mutant saga. Don't speed run the mutant saga. Do them well, because we gonna be on your ass. However, make that the focus. And I have kind of pushed the MCU to the wayside overall because it doesn't seem super intentional right now, and that's not the worst thing in the world. But I just ain't got the patience right now. But shows like Agatha are what keep me engaged and still holding out hope for them to go back to that renaissance and that glory days. And I'm not talking about before woke and all of this shit here. Y'all can my ass with that. But yeah, so let's get into some theories. Okay, so my first and most likely theory, which it may be a hint of delusion, but what can I say? Jennifer is going to survive. Not only is she the road ahead, as stated by Lilia last episode, but she is the high priestess, immense spiritual power that she's unwilling or unable to use. I truly don't believe that they will give her a shining moment and, make all of this type of fuss about her if she were not going to be, a part of the MCU moving forward. And, as a tarot reader myself, the High Priestess, she's a major arcana. Like, she is that girl. So I just see her moving forward, after this. My second theory that I also think is super likely was that Nicholas Scratch, Agatha's son, his passing was accidental and it was because of Agatha. That scene that we keep on seeing from the mid-season trailer of her with the other witches in the forest or on the road, quote unquote, I believe that one of those is Nicholas Scratch's death scene and him saying stop during her trial, which I also think was not real. Simply because a lot of people keep saying the aspect ratio did not change. And if you go back and look at the other challenges, the aspect ratios did indeed change. However, I do believe that there was an incident where Agatha accidentally absorbed Nicholas's powers. I don't think the Darkhold had anything to do with it, but yeah, I think she killed her son, but it may not have been completely her fault, but something within her could not resist. Theory number three. I think we are going to finally get a doggone Mephisto cameo, but it's gonna be just that, a cameo. I don't think it's gonna be anything big. If we do see him for any extended amount of time, I think it'll be in a flashback, not in anything present day. And then if he is shown in present day, it'll be in like a post credit sequence, probably leading into something like Midnight Suns or whatever mystical properties that they're about to try to start leading into. You know what I'm saying? My last two theories are kind of going to lead into each other. So, starting with number one, I don't think the road was ever a real thing. I think that since whenever that was where Agatha took all of those witches' powers, and we can also see in that trailer that that is probably one of the first times that Agatha and Lady Death actually meet in person. So this seems to be the moment where, they begin to court each other. Rio sees that Agatha has this propensity to, just deliver chaos and unaliveness. And obviously, the personification of death would, kind of be in heat for something like that. You know what I'm saying? At first I thought it was, but after doing a little more evaluation, I don't think the witch's road is real at all. I don't think it was ever a thing. It has always been a legend. I think that it is a scheme that Todd set up for, the bullshit to be brought to these witches. And the bullshit has already been brought to Alice and to Lilia. But I'm going to tell you one thing right now. If you lay any of your gnarled fingers on Jennifer Kale, it's going to be a problem, Rio. Okay? Let me tell you that. This has always been a plot that was used to bring Rio bodies. However, this time things went a little differently. The whole Ballad of the Witch's Road, it was real, but it's kind of like this urban legend type thing. I think and I believe that Billy Maximoff is just like his mother. He is a world class reality manipulator. In the comics, he is on par with Scarlet Witch and is destined to become much more powerful than the Scarlet Witch, like literally the universe itself. But I think specifically this scene where he is inside of a pentagram and it looks like he's in somebody's attic or something. I believe he created the witch's road out of his subconscious. He can't quite control it, but all of this is from him. Notice in his room there are Wizard of Oz posters. There is a poster of Alice's mom, who, the second trial was literally all about that song. And this entire road, quite honestly, is an homage to The Wizard of Oz. Then when we get to Lilia's trial, everyone is dressed up like some pop culture witch. And you could look at this in a way of, oh, haha, the road is trying to be funny. But As a homosexual myself, who is more shady and who is more catty than a white twink? You know what I'm saying? In his head, Billy is probably looking at all of these girls like she's a total Elphaba. That's totally an evil witch. Which I don't know why he would assign that to Jen, but I'm a I'm a clamp my tongue and move right along. And assigning something like the good witch to Lilia, who she is the heart and soul of the team. How would the road know such a thing? Does it know your heart, or does the creator of it know you?
Coincidence? I think not.
I think that scene of him within the pentagram that they keep showing in the main trailer and the mid-season trailer is him accidentally conjuring up the road. I really want to put money on it. Y'all don't come in my comments because look, if I lose, y'all not gonna hear from me. I just want to bet that him being in that pentagram in that mid-season trailer is him attempting to access the witch's road by himself, and he unknowingly manifested it at that time. And so when they perform the ballad in the first episode, that's like the jolt of energy or that synchronicity that he needed in order for his spell to work. Yeah, yeah. A scheme set up by Todd. All right, y'all, that is it for this video. If I didn't go into detail about, certain things that y'all would have liked to hear about or y'all would have liked me to go into detail about, just drop a comment down below because I will be spinning the block to see which of my theories is correct, to see where they're going with the Salem 7, and just to see how this is all going to end, y'all. So let me know something. Peace out. Bye. Down, 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 down. Where are my bass? Where are my background singers? Yes.